All right, please take your seats. In a brilliant feat of complicated coordination, we are collaborating with the Alzheimer's Association Neuroscience Next conference. This is a global no-cost virtual conference that showcases the work of students, postdoctoral researchers, and early career research professionals in cognitive, computational, behavioral, and other areas of neuroscience research. I would like to warmly welcome the Alzheimer's Association to carry out this next portion of our proceedings and invite Nadia Degani to share the AAIC Neuroscience Next Awards.
All right, thank you, Bob. Hi, everyone. My name's Nadia Degani. I'm a graduate student at Van Andel Institute and also the co-chair of the Scientific Program Committee for AAIC Neuroscience Next. On behalf of the committee, it's our pleasure to welcome you to AAIC Neuroscience Next Awards session live from Madison, Wisconsin. The Alzheimer's Association's Excellence in Neuroscience Mentoring Award honors individuals who have made significant contributions to the mentoring of dementia scientists through either research mentorship, where the mentor shares technical knowledge and skills, career mentorship, where a mentor shares insights on career navigation and provides advancement opportunities, or personal mentorship, where a mentor guides their mentees to build confidence, persist through obstacles, and achieve personal goals. Our first award winner is Dr. Inés Moreno-Gonzalez. Inés Moreno-Gonzalez is a professor and researcher at the University of Malaga. She received a doctorate in 2009 in the area of neurobiology. She was an associate professor in the Department of Neurology at the University of Texas Health Science Center in Houston, Texas. Since 2019, she is a Ramon y Cajal researcher at the Department of Biology, Genetics and Physiology at the University of Malaga. She is also the president of the Alliance of Women Alzheimer's Researchers and a member of the Institute of Biomedicine of Malaga and the Networking Research Center on Neurodegenerative Diseases. Although she couldn't join us in person today, she is here with us virtually from Spain. Please welcome Dr. Moreno-Gonzalez.
Hi, everyone. I'm very honored to receive the Excellence in Neuroscience Mentoring Award. So I would like to thank the Alzheimer Association and the Scientific Program Committee of the AAIC Neuroscience Next meeting, and thank you for selecting me. So let me share my screen with you. So I've been asked to show you my mentoring journey, and let me tell you that this has been a paid forward road, and I'm going to show you why. So this is my road from my PhD to my postdoctoral training and being then faculty at the University of UT Health and now at the University of Malaga. And during this road, I had several extraordinary mentors and wonderful mentees. Dr. Antonia Gutierrez introduced me to science. She passed me all her passion for science. She showed me how to do science and how I could advance in my career. She provided me career opportunities, and she really pushed me to start and continue in science. After obtaining my PhD, I had Dr. Claudio Soto, who was key on shaping my career, selecting what would be the main goals that I will be studying in the dementia field. I'm currently working on risk factors for Alzheimer's disease, and that was due to Claudio Soto, and I'm very thankful for that. During my faculty positions at UT, I had the opportunity to have as mentors Dr. Kevin Morano. He is the Senior Vice President of Academic and Faculty Affairs at UT Health, and also Dr. Louise Macala. She is the chair of the Department of Neurology, both of them very well recognized mentors especially for faculty, and they really helped me to become a faculty, to manage personnel, to know how to manage conflicts in the lab. They also pushed me to promote from assistant to associate professor. So I'm really, really glad to have them as mentor. And finally, I would like to also mention Dr. Rema Raman. She is an amazing person and mentor who has been supporting me for the last few years, especially when I did my move back to Spain. And for sure, in addition to mentors, I had mentees. Many of them were while I was still doing my PhD at the lab, and I was teaching them how to do science as I was told. And then when I continued my career and I moved to Houston to do my postdoc, I had George, that he's currently doing his postdoctoral training at Baylor College of Medicine. And he started with me to do the master's. And that was a training period for both of us. He was training to pursue the master, and I was on a training period to know how to become a mentor. And he knew that, he agreed with that, and I think it went well. He, in fact, stayed with me to do his PhD once I became faculty. And after that, I had an amazing group of people working with me. That it's been amazing to have them as mentees. I still track them, how they are doing and how they are advancing in their careers. And when I moved back to Spain, I also started my group here, and I'm also surrounded here by amazing PhD students and research assistants that are really very nice to work with. So how I see mentoring? I see mentoring in many different features. First of all, I still like to teach my students in the lab. I don't have much time lately, but I try to do my best to teach them different lab techniques, how they can develop their skills, scientific knowledge, how to do the research, how to have scientific rigor, how to be innovative. Sometimes it's a little bit hard, but it's fun, right? I also try to teach them how to write science, how to do scientific communication for publication, for some grantmanship. I like that they are able to increase their productivity, for sure that they get their master's and PhD degrees. I try to provide them with formal and informal evaluations. But every time that we all have time, we really enjoy going to attending to international meetings like the AAIC. I think it's a great opportunity for to facilitate networking, collaborations, so they can have also different mentoring opportunities, peer recognition. They can also present their posters so they can improve their oral communication. And in addition to that, I really like to be involved in other different activities about mentoring, and that's why I've been, and I am one of the members of the executive committee of the Aware PIA. And we perform and organize many different activities to facilitate mentoring to early career investigators. But I think that the most important part of being a mentor is the family that we are in the lab. I I really love to advise them in their career options and opportunities. I sometimes try to make them the contact. I still review their CVs. I prepare them for interviews and how they can become independent. I write them a letter of recommendations. And so I try everything that is on my hands to facilitate them to continue in their scientific career. And I think that's the best thing and the most rewarding part of being a mentor. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ines, and congratulations again. Next, it's my pleasure to announce the next Mentoring Award winner, Dr. Edward Lee, who will be presented this award by Dr. Claire Sexton of the Alzheimer's Association. Eddie Lee obtained his MD and PhD degree from the University of Pennsylvania in 2005, where he studied the pathophysiology of beta amyloid under the mentorship of Dr. Virginia Lee. After clinical training in neuropathology, he joined the faculty of the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine as an attending physician. He is also the director of the Center of Neurodegenerative Disease Brain Bank, co-director of the Penn Institute on Aging, associate director of the Penn Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, and principal investigator of the Translational Neuropathology Research Laboratory. Please welcome Dr. Eddie Lee.
I didn't bring slides. I'm just going to be talking today. This is a great honor. I too will start with my prior mentors, right? In medicine and particularly surgery, there's a saying, see one, do one, teach one. And so seeing mentors and seeing how they interact with you is a big part of how I became a mentor. So I'll start from the very beginning. My high school chemistry teacher, Mrs. Hybrecht, she has no idea I'm talking about her, but just showing you joy and happiness can come from science. That's a very important thing to learn as a young person. We mentioned Virginia Lee. She's been a longtime mentor. She taught me first to work hard and also how to do rigorous and impactful science. And I hope some of that's rubbed off on me. A little over a year ago, we lost John Trojanowski, who was also my mentor, a neuropathologist, and he taught me how to think big concept, big ideas, and also how to lead. And he's sorely missed. And I also want to mention Murray Grossman, who passed away a little bit over a week ago. So he was a cognitive neurologist at Penn, founded our frontotemporal dementia center, which is one of the most busy in the world in setting up FTD. And he showed me how dedicated that guy worked hard all the time, drank lots of coffee, but also how if you respect others, that goes a long way in building a team and building something. And in thinking about getting an award for mentoring, it's kind of like getting an award for eating ice cream. It's weird because like I like doing it. It's not because I'm looking for accolades or anything like that. So with that, probably what I'm most known about in terms of education is this neuropathology career development workshop that we put on in association with the American Association of Neuropathologists. Thankfully, the NIA is funding this, and they've decided to fund it for another 5 years. The trainees who have entered this have done remarkably well. Almost all of them are in academia, including people at Alabama, Kansas, Northwestern, Nebraska, Mayo Clinic, Pittsburgh, Brigham and Women's. And to think about that many neuropathologists making it in academia is remarkable. Just a plug, if you're interested, we have another 5 years, and it's like a rolling admissions every other year. But that's kind of cheating a little bit because those people were amazing, and they were going to be amazing with or without me. And so I'm glad that I could help them along their careers. What I think the most impactful or satisfying part about mentoring are helping the people who are struggling a little bit. And so I'm thinking about, this German woman who came to our lab, and the first months were brutal with culture shock and being isolated and alone. And so being able to recognize that is important. I think about a young woman who was doing a postbac in our lab, and I found her one day learning Spanish because her parents only spoke in Spanish, and she needed a way to communicate to them what she was doing. She was a first to graduate college, and there was this disconnect, this divide. And so understanding that people have certain barriers that you couldn't even imagine. You know, I've had multiple students join the lab whose parents are affected or have died from neurodegenerative disease. And so understanding even how we communicate about these diseases in your lab to be respectful for people who may or may not be suffering from these diseases. So on behalf of all the A&P scholars, the 50+ thesis committees I've been on, all the graduate students and postdocs and all the other students, and also thank you to the Scientific Planning Committee and Alzheimer's Association for this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie, and thank you, Ines, as well. What incredible mentors. Let's have another round of applause for Dr. Ines Marino-Gonzalez and Dr. Eddie Lee. Now it's my pleasure to present the One to Watch Award. The AAIC Neuroscience Next One to Watch Award recognizes the next generation of leaders in neuroscience, the students, postdoctoral researchers, and early career investigators who are trailblazers in scientific discovery, collaboration, inclusivity, communication, and outreach. After receiving a host of amazing nominations, the Scientific Program Committee identified 4 individuals who are leading the way for the future of neuroscience. Today, we'll be hearing from these winners who are here in Madison. They will share a bit about their story before discussing what advances they are most hopeful for in the field of neuroscience research. It's my pleasure to host them on this panel. Please join me in welcoming our One to Watch awardees, and please come up as I announce your name. First off, we have Dr. Claire Andre, who's a postdoc fellow at the Center for Advanced Research in Sleep Medicine in Montreal, Canada. Next, we have Chinmayi Balusu, a graduate student at Columbia University in New York City, currently completing her Master's of Public Health degree in neuroepidemiology. Next, we have Dr. Casey Dieters, an assistant professor at UC Los Angeles in the Department of Integrative Biology and Physiology. And last but not least, we have Kaoli Yang, a doctoral student at University of Wisconsin-Madison, currently pursuing a Master of Public Administration and PhD in neuroscience. So a very warm welcome to all of you deserving winners. I'm very excited to speak with you today. You're all excellent scientists, and so I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to highlight your area of research and interests. And I also have some questions prepared, which highlight some of the reasons why you were nominated for this award. So I'll start off with Dr. Claire Andre. Your important research since doctoral school and now through your postdoc fellowship is advancing our understanding of the role of sleep in Alzheimer's disease. What motivated and still motivates you to pursue this crucial area of research?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really grateful to receive this award. Actually, I've always been really fascinated by sleep. It's one of my all-time favorite activities. So, and we really know that good sleep is essential to global health and, of course, brain health. I've studied as an undergrad doing an internship with Dr. Geraldine Roche, who was later my PhD advisor, and I was studying the associations between sleep and memory consolidation. And later, I met with Dr. Gaëlle Chetla, who was also my PhD co-director, and she introduced me to neuroimaging and Alzheimer's disease research. So I've loved collaborating with both of them, and I'm really grateful to have received wonderful mentorship, and I've had an incredible experience doing my PhD, and they remain my most close collaborators still now. And I've then moved to Montreal to a sleep lab, actually, and I'm working on the associations between REM sleep and the integrity of the basal forebrain and the cholinergic system. So I'm also really grateful to work with my two postdoctoral advisors, Dr. Nadia Gosselin and Professor Julie Carrier. Because I know that my previous mentors nominated me for the award, so I'm really grateful to be here and for the exceptional mentorship that I have received. And one good proof of that is that I'm still working with all of them and I have not run away. So
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I next have a question for Chinmayi Balusu. So Chinmayi, you're also the founder and CEO of Simply Neuroscience. Please could you tell us a little bit more about what motivated you to set this up?
Thank you, Nadia, and thank you everyone for your support here today. So I started Simply Neuroscience when I was 16 years old, and I didn't know what I was doing in all honesty. But what the sole reason was is I loved the brain. And I loved learning about the brain and finding ways to learn about the brain. But at 16 years old, you're kind of trying to figure out a lot of things. And especially on the internet, it's a whole wide ocean out there. So I had put together all these resources on a website in hopes that I could share them with other students from my own high school, my own community, just as a place to start. And as the power of social media goes, people started stumbling across it and saying, hey, I'm also a student. I really resonate in feeling like I was trying to find my own way. I was very lost and I want to do something about it. And so it kind of snowballed really powerfully from there. And we had students coming from all across the world. Today, our community spans 119 countries, which I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. And these folks are middle school students who are 13 years old, graduate students, all sorts of career stages, and all united about getting young people excited about their brain, getting them opportunities to learn how to pursue neuroscience in a very interdisciplinary manners within the sciences and the humanities as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Chinmayi. And you're actually currently in the final year of your Master's of Public Health degree. Would you like to share with us some of the work that you've been doing or some of your future endeavors as well?
Absolutely. It is the countdown to graduation, which is really exciting. I currently work on a lot of clinical research focusing on traumatic brain injury and stroke outcomes, specifically in subarachnoid hemorrhage. And I am based with a really amazing team at Columbia who studies population level data across Washington Heights and beyond in New York City. So it's been very valuable to kind of see these outcomes come up from such powerful clinical data from literally decades, since way before I was even born. And so in the next steps, as I graduate, I'm hoping to apply to medical school in the next couple of years and continue to keep on working in the neuroepidemiology space and bringing in a lot of these interdisciplinary connections.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Chinmayi. Dr. Casey Dieters, please could you introduce your lab at UCLA and tell us a little bit more about the focus of your research?
Definitely. First, I want to thank everyone for having me here and thank you for the AAIC for this award. And I definitely want to give a shout out to the person who nominated me for this award, Dr. Paris Atkins Jackson, or AJ, at Columbia University. Thank you so much. I know she's watching. So I've been an assistant professor at UCLA just since July 1st of 2022. So very brand new lab, just getting up and running. My career up until my faculty was really focused on neuroimaging and genetic markers of cognitive decline and dementia. And I have learned since diving into the world of ethnic and racial disparities research, how important it is that we focus on non-biological factors, especially when it comes to the Black community. So focusing on the disparities research framework and looking beyond, looking at environmental, social factors and how those actually play a role in cognition dementia is what my lab is going to be built upon. So I recently was awarded, I got the NOA for KO1 last week, so yay. And it is focused on that intersection of biological and social factors. And thank you.
That's wonderful. Dr. Dieters, you're also the Black in Neuro Seminar Series program lead. Would you like to highlight any upcoming events that you recommend checking out?
Yeah, thank you so much for mentioning Black and Neuro. Yeah, Black and Neuro is an amazing program. Again, really trying to bring together people that identify as Black in the space of neuroscience, from as young as high school up to people that are retired. And it's just a wonderful place. There is not many of us in science. We often have to seek out those relationships. And so now having this platform that can bring together the community is really great. They do host a number of events. And yes, I am the lead for the seminar series. We're actually finishing up. We only have one, but I would encourage you all to sign up. This is an event that is open to everyone. And we do highlight Black neuroscientists throughout the academic year, the first Friday of every month. And so May, is it like 5th? I don't know, whatever that first Friday in May is, we have our last speaker for Black and Neuro. So we welcome everyone, and they are all recorded, and this will be a continued endeavor, I'm sure, over the years to come.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Dieters. Now, Cowley, you launched Hmong in Biomedical Sciences. Please could you share a bit more about this group and how you hope that it will grow?
Check. Okay. First of all, thank you, Nadia, and thank you to the Alzheimer's Association for this recognition. I'm so grateful to be here. I launched Hmong in the biological sciences because I was on a mission to find other trainees and scientists with similar background to mine. And so in my training, I have not come across individuals organically. And so I took to social media and I used it as a tool for connection. And I am pleased to share that I have connected with 2 other trainees in neuroscience. So currently in the US, I am one of 3 Hmong identifying trainees in neuroscience. And the reason why I called this group Hmong in the biological sciences is because there are very few Hmong identifying scientists. And so I had to broaden our scope a little bit. And so this networking group, we do meet every month. I run those meetings along with other scientists and trainees. And our purpose really is to, 1, provide support for one another, but also make ourselves visible so that individuals from other minoritized groups and or groups that are little known could see that they can belong in the sciences and that they can come here and they can succeed. And so that was really the reason for why I launched it and how we're doing right now.
That's wonderful to hear and very powerful. Now, Cowley, you're currently a graduate student at University of Wisconsin-Madison, where we're broadcasting from live. It must be particularly special to receive this award surrounded by your peers and colleagues. What advice do you have for other early career researchers who are watching either in person or virtually?
Well, I'm in my 3rd year, and so I do want to encourage other trainees, especially if you're in the middle of your PhD education, to really make the most out of the resources available to you. So I'm extremely grateful for all of the wonderful mentors that I have had here at Wisconsin and internationally. I'm a 1st-generation student, so I don't think I could be here without supportive mentors as well as a supportive peer environment. I say this as I'm looking at Benlin Labbers. So yeah, anyone watching this, I would recommend that you take advantage of the resources available to you. Don't be shy. And if you do feel a little nervous, it's okay to ask for a pep talk from one of your friends or mentors.
That's wonderful. Thank you all for answering the questions that I had prepared. Now, I just have one question for you as a panel. Anyone can answer. You can bounce off each other. What are you looking forward to as we look to what's next in neuroscience?
I can start. I'm looking forward to a lot. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to just pick one thing, but I'm really, really excited. You know, I'm kind of take a role from the people that just got the mentorship awards, but I'm really excited to see what the upcoming generations, and I know I'm early career, I just started my faculty, so I still have to actually establish something, but I think that we're all really expanding and challenging the paradigm of just what is neuroscience related to dementia. And I think, again, just talking to incorporating a lot of the social factors, especially when it comes to minoritized populations or groups. I have a particular interest in, structural racism and discrimination and how that impacts cognition later in life. And so, these are things that weren't really looked into before, except for a very niche population. And I really am excited to, the more I hear and learn from other groups, that they are expanding beyond just focusing, on one. And someone said previously that there's they wear many hats. I think somebody on this panel said this, maybe just in a personal conversation, but as neuroscientists, we wear many hats, and that is just so true. And so, just continue to see that expansion is I'm really excited about.
Maybe I completely align with this, and maybe we are trying to collaborate a lot more, and I'm really hopeful that more collaboration around the world is going to help tackle really important questions such as diversity. So yeah, more collaboration. And I'm lucky enough to be part of the iStart Sleep and Circadian Rhythm PIA, and this is a good example of increasing collaboration opportunities and networking around people.
I think one of the big questions that I'm always thinking about in addition to that is, what does a neuroscience field look like if it is truly embracing interdisciplinarity? Because interdisciplinarity is a big buzzword. We all like to think about it. It's definitely something that we address in grant applications and in many events and so on and so forth. But if we think about, for instance, I think about your program integrating the sciences and public policy. I think about public health intertwining with neuroscience, the arts, industry, entrepreneurship, and technology, and so many other really wonderful intersections. And I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more early career folks and students who find themselves right at the intersection of both of them, with kind of one foot perhaps in the sciences and one of the humanities, or something that's completely different from what we consider as traditional scientists. And I think there is something that is truly an honor to be both a scientist and to be able to see science from the periphery by taking a step back yourself. And so I am really excited to see where this next generation of multidisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, all these exciting innovations turn out to be. And I'm really thrilled that I'm sure a lot of the students who are here today, and who many of you may be mentoring, and the up and coming K-12 students even, will be doing in the next years to come.
I just want to say that all of your points have resonated with me. And in addition, something that I'm looking forward to in dementia science and neuroscience in general is, I think, the change that's going to come with how we define diversity and inclusion, not just for our research participants, but also for the people who are doing the science, for the trainees and the scientists, because I think it's really important to cultivate a field, like a workforce, that is inclusive. And I think that can inform our science and how we ask our questions. And I'm looking forward to that. I think with tools that we have, like social media and the power of connecting with each other internationally, there's a lot of great promise for the future.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you all so much for joining us and for sharing insights into why you are very much deserving One to Watch awardees. So congratulations to all 4 of our 2023 AAIC Neuroscience Next One to Watch award winners. Let's give them another round of applause. And congratulations again to our mentoring winners, Dr. Ines Marino-Gonzalez and Dr. Eddie Lee. Their success as leading mentors in the field of neuroscience really inspires all of us, I'm sure, in person and virtually. So thank you also to our sponsor, Lilly, who helps make AAIC Neuroscience Next possible. Please join us tomorrow for Neuroscience Next, where we'll be coming to you first from Philadelphia to hear career milestones from Dr. Virginia Lee, and then we'll be going to Brazil to hear brand new findings on astrocyte biology. Thank you all so much.
So this is really exciting for us to host this global broadcast from Madison, Wisconsin. So I want to thank the Alzheimer's Association for reaching out to us on this collaboration. Claire, Holly, Chris, Nadia, everyone, also for traveling here to be with us today at our Alzheimer's Disease Research Day. Let's just have another round of applause for all of the winners.